everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're seeing my face for the very first time, hi, welcome. My name is Adora and you're watching Life with Adabeke. Don't forget to like this video, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you can be one of the first people to see my videos when they drop. I hope that you have watched our part 1 of our return from rotations, and what you're watching right now is going to be the part 2. If you watched the part 1, you should already know who my special guests here are, but because they are nice people, they are going to introduce themselves. What's your name?
My name is Alaba. I am Adora's friend, a rising M4. Nice to meet you all.
I'm Jessie. I'm also Adora's friend and Alaba's friend, and also a rising M4.
Hi again. I'm Alia, still here for moral support.
All right, you guys, let's get back into this part 2. So each person, what was is 2. So what was your best part of clerkship and what was your worst part of clerkship? For me, right, I think my best part of clerkship was actually like patient interaction. I know I had mentioned like last year that I was looking forward to that, and honestly that did not fall my hand. Like I feel like I got to talk to so many different people. Like I got to meet so many different people and really be the amount of patients that cried, like we cried together, and we hug, like the patients I like checked, like there was a patient that I was seeing in clinic, and then I knew when she was going to like be having her baby, so I came back later to come and like, because when I was in L&D, so I went to go and see her in postpartum, and she's like, oh my god, like there are just so many like beautiful things like that happened for like me throughout rotations, like on different rotations, like being able to just talk to people, see different families, like figure things out with different people. I really enjoyed like being in the hospital setting, like around patients. I loved peds. When I tell you, I said this thing before in my channel, like newborn nursery was my single best week in the entire year. Just coming and carrying babies, smelling babies, like swaddling babies, doing the newborn exam. Like I was just like,
Scared me though. I was scared I was
I
gonna break them.
love me that I'm a nanny, so I love babies. Like I was just, oh God, every time I was like, is there a way I can do this? Just be a doctor for newborn nursery. Like I don't want to see anybody else. Just not well children, well baby. Just be seeing baby and be changing their diaper and check. I love baby. Oh God, that newborn nursery. Every day I wake up in the morning happy. I'm like, I'm going to go and see my babies. Like, so I just enjoyed like being around like patients. Like, just I didn't really have too many patients. I will not even lie. I didn't really have too many where the patients themselves like give me problem. Like maybe on psych, but that is self-explanatory. But just for the most part, like I felt like I really had like my patients, like I just enjoyed the like being around, like talking to people, trying to help and figure out their problems. My worst part of clerkship was bureaucracy. What do I mean by this? As medical students, you are in fact, hellfire is even higher than you because you are bottom, you are under the table. And as a result, medical students, nobody really remembers that you exist, right? And it shows up in many different ways. It shows up in when they decide to tell you things. There was a time I got shouted at because they forgot to tell me something. They now shouted at me. They were the ones that forgot to tell me. Or is it how they will forget to release you for lunch? But if you go for your lunch, then that's when they will now remember you and start looking for you. But they forgot to tell you to go and get lunch. Or is it how they will forget that you're there for 3 hours and nobody will dismiss you? You just get forgotten And I feel like because of that, they end up wasting my time. I'm like, if you're keeping me in this hospital, you better be engaging me. If not, send me home. So I hated like so many small bureaucracy, like just so many useless. I hate lack of efficiency. And I'm like, I hate anything where you're just wasting people's time. And I think because of the bureaucracy and because you are the very bottom of the food chain, like I found that my time as a medical student ended up being wasted a lot. So I would say that was probably the worst. Like I hated that so much because I was like, I could be better using this time at home, sleeping or studying. So
Yeah, kind of jumping off of that, I feel like the reason why it's so inefficient is also because for each service we're only on for like a week. So then it takes you a while to like maybe a day or two to figure out like like the team that you're working with, the attending you're working with, like how the specific service flows, and then by the time you like understand it, then
you have to move on.
Yeah, you're starting on another service. And then also like the team itself is switching throughout the week too, because like the residents switch on a certain day, the senior residents switch, yeah, like they all switch on different days, and then you're just like ping-ponged around to like the next service. So like that's why it's so easy to be forgotten about, because like also the residents, like they don't even know what to do with you either, and they have their own stuff. So they're like, okay, like how long are you even here for? Like what do I have to do with you, you know? So I agree with that for the bureaucracy part.
Okay. So I think you gave a good example of what good and like best and worst is. I think I have something to say for best. I think the best thing about clerkships for me is that I really enjoyed being able to be a positive influence somehow. If it's in the patient's day or in the team's day, or it's, you know, just somehow I wanted to be in the environment. I wanted to be a plus versus a minus or a neutral. You know, it was hard because every day I would try, I would tell myself every single, like, it's okay. So to explain, we have to be up very early, right? And that legitimately kills my spirit. Just having to be up so early. But even in things like peds, I would always tell myself like, oh, I just need to wake up, you know, be present, be happy, be helpful. You know, those are my things to myself to help. And it just got harder and harder to keep that up. By the time surgery came along, I would wake up in the morning and I'm just like silently sobbing, saying, be helpful, be present. I'm like, you can do this, just try.
You can do this.
But having that like goal in my head at least really helped, because I could see the impact of my actions just very plainly, you know, like, oh, even if it's the most tiny thing, I can get a warm blanket. And for me, if I've done that, then I'm like, that's a good job for the day, you know. Right. For me, the best things were being able to see my influence in the little ways that those mattered to me. Like, I remember there was a time when I went to go see a patient and he was like, oh, I don't know, I was examining him, and then I decided, he told me he went fishing or something, or he went swimming in the shores. I was like, okay, let me take a look at your feet, because, you know, old people feet stuff. I looked at his feet, he had a cut there, and I was like, oh, you know, we need a band-aid for that cut. I got someone to give him a band-aid, and then he told me, wow, you have been the only person to help me today. And I was like, what? I just gave you a band-aid. But, you know, like, it's very little things like that, like just being able to make someone feel seen in that day or something. I really enjoyed just being a positive force. It felt good, you know, even if it's the very little, even if I don't have the medical knowledge to fix everything, I can at least assist somehow. Anyway, worst, I don't know where to start.
This video will be too long.
Exactly.
Just pick one thing.
I'll just choose one thing. I think for me, what bothers me more than big picture problems are daily hassles. I really do enjoy daily issues. So a problem I felt like I just was running into this daily. It's just lots of miscommunication and like where to be, who to report to, who is going to be in charge of me. How can I spend every day wondering who is going to, you know, care about my whereabouts? You know, kind of what you were saying about the bureaucracy, but like it just felt like I didn't have any consistency at all. Even in the consistency of when I'm getting my information about what to be doing. I remember for some services, you only got your rotation the day before. And it's like, okay, great, but all this is very changing. Everything is changing so fast every single time. It's like, I would just like some kind of consistency, even if it's in small ways. And so
I remember on Gain, you are the one that texts them the night before, and then the person you text sometimes change. I'm just like, what kind of inefficient system is this?
it's
Like,
just,
you
it
text
makes it
them
hard.
and then
It's daily, and if it was like a big, of course, another daily problem was waking up, but I've already said that. That's already baseline. But
Was
like,
waking up a problem for you?
it was for me.
It wasn't?
It really was.
No.
really?
It was.
Are you
it was
sure?
a while. Surprise. Yeah, I don't know. I just wish we could cut out all the unnecessary daily hassles that we had to face just to do what we needed to do for our requirements, you know? If it was streamlined, that would just make things so much easier.
Right.
I feel like the one good thing, I guess, about like everything being so chaotic is that you kind of like got used to it. Like, I feel like a lot of times, like, people who are in medicine tend to be very neurotic and stuff. And so I feel like having to deal with so much uncertainty and just being like, well, like, that's just how this is. Like, you just, like, you learn to, like, let things go and be like, okay, at the end of the day, like, if I don't show up at the right place, like, I mean, there's
I
only
did my
so
best.
much I can do. Like, I really, I checked my email. I don't know who I'm talking to now. So I feel like that kind of like made me like take things into perspective a little bit more, or just kind of like
chill out.
Yeah. Be like, all right, this is not that big of a deal. Like, it's okay. But yeah, in terms of, I guess, the best thing about clerkships, besides like what you guys said about patient care and like actually being involved with like helping someone and making them feel seen, I think, again, because I had medicine last, I think it was really like it really boosted my confidence of being able to like connect all the points together of, again, like patient care, because coming into clerkships and even like throughout, I feel like I personally like had very low self-confidence in like my ability, again, like being the low man on the totem pole. Like, you feel like you're always messing things up. There's so much for you to learn. Like, you can never really do things right. Even when you start to learn like how to do one thing, there's like 5 other things that you realize you don't know about. So I think for like in medicine, and again, because I had it last, I think I was like, wow, like I actually do have a plan for this patient. I don't have to just like copy it from the resident's note, you know? So that was just like a personal growth factor that I was kind of proud of for myself.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank
So now we're done with our phase 2 and we're heading into the best part of med school, phase 3, also known as 4th year. So what are you looking forward to in phase 3?
Wait, can we go through what people want to go into?
Yeah, you can
Like the
mention that
specialties?
and then say what you're
Okay.
looking forward to.
Okay.
So what did you decide? Because
Okay.
you told us you did not know.
Yeah. So I originally I liked surgery more than I expected I would.
Okay.
I really liked being in the OR and stuff. So there was a period of time where I thought that I was gonna go into OB-GYN, just because I liked having like OR time, but then also like following up with patients and stuff like that. But then as the year went on and I started doing more like medicine specific rotations, I realized that even though I really liked the OR environment, I don't think it was worth the like
Hassle.
like just the toxic lifestyle in
Right.
terms of how hard residency is. Like, yes, residency is hard across the board, but there is like hard than other hard. And I would say that like OB-GYN and surgery, in terms of the hours that you have to put in and stuff, and like having to always be on call and things like that, was something that I realized like is not something I want to prioritize. Like, I do want to be able to have time to like enjoy hobbies or like have a family. And like one thing that I noticed was when I was on OB-GYN, I asked a lot of the residents like, oh, like how feasible is it to like have a family and stuff, and they're always like, it's hard but it's doable. But like doable, it depends on what you're doing. version of doable it. Like I heard like someone was saying that there was a resident who had just given birth, and like she was like pumping while she was on the floors like working. So like yeah, that's doable, but like what, like to what degree are you willing to like sacrifice and stuff? So I think seeing that kind of ruled like any surgery specialties out for me. And then when I was on medicine, I think I was on one of the like med-onc floors and stuff, and I worked with palliative care and stuff. So I think that I want to go into like palliative and hospice care. So that's my long-winded story.
So I am then palliative.
Yeah.
Nice.
And what are you looking forward to in phase 3?
I think I'm looking forward to the sub-Is, honestly, because it's like where you can actually do what you want to do. And like, I think the attendings and residents will kind of take you more seriously because they know that you're here because you want to go into that specialty. And they'll like pay more attention to you. And you'll feel more like you're part of a team. So I think I'm excited for that.
What are you going into, and then what are you looking forward to in phase 3?
Okay, so through our rotations, I kind of saw everything. I thought it was cool, you know. I felt like pediatrics and OBGYN, I just really enjoyed the patient population a lot, you know. I just felt like I had the most energy when I was there. I enjoyed neurology and psychiatry, though I'm not going to go into those. I did find it interesting, you know, it's stuff that I could do possibly, right? But like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we could do in medicine. I don't want to do internal medicine just because I'm not really a big fan of this style of like everything in it so far. Of course, not surgery. So I decided to go a different route. I'm trying to go into physical medicine and rehabilitation. It's kind of like a mix, in my opinion anyways, rather than prioritizing organs. We're thinking about function, and it's kind of like neurology, musculoskeletal stuff. But within that, I might go into like a pediatric or women's health section within that. But for now, I think I'm really aiming towards that just because I think it will be very interesting to try this out versus all the main stuff that I have already seen. I still haven't seen stuff in this field. I have shadowed a little, but you know, I want to be actually a student rotating through the field so I can understand how it works. Right. So I am actually looking forward to phase 3 so I can find out what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, ideally. I'm going full in though. I think I already know. I've been looking into it. I already like a lot of the topics, you know, the concepts, the subspecialties. I'm like, oh, that sounds fun, you know? So exciting stuff. Phase 3, I'm excited for all the breaks. Yes, I said it. There's lots of breaks, I think, or lots of breaks are possible. And honestly, I thrive when I have breaks, like a human being, you know.
That's fair.
Yeah, I tend to enjoy myself more when I can do the things to work and then recover and then work and then recover. It's
they
great
recover.
stuff.
That's a fair ask.
Yeah, recovery is essential.
Wait, okay, question. When did you decide, like, when did you realize, okay, it's not these rotations that I want to do, but rather, like, maybe I should explore PM&R?
So initially, I had already been thinking about PM&R since mind, brain, and behavior, that neuro at the time, just because we're introduced to people with spinal cord injuries, and I was just like, oh, this is and stroke rehab kind of stuff was mentioned, and then I kind of looked into it. Then I was like, this is really interesting. I was curious, you know, my curiosity was piqued. And then I shadowed and I was like, okay, it was an outpatient doctor, spine specialist that I shadowed. And I thought, you know, this is interesting, but like, maybe I might not do spine, you know, because he was a spine specialist. Right? There's other kinds of PM&R. But I was still very curious about the field, about like, you know, helping people regain some kind of lost function. I was like, yeah, that sounds like a very cool thing. Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting place to be in your journey. So I wanted to, rather than, you know, like, you know, preventive versus the acute stuff that happens a lot of times, this is the aftermath almost, you know, rebuilding. I felt like that was very interesting to me. And then doing all the rotations actually kind of helped me keep thinking about PM&R, because I would do something and I'm like, oh, you this is cool, but like, I don't know. Exactly. Like, can I do this every day? Would I be happy doing this in a few years? Like, I need something that piques my interest, but also is feasible, which is why I'm really excited about possibly doing like a pediatric component of PM&R, because like, I really enjoyed Peas. I really enjoyed those like just the babies, as you said. They changed my whole clerkship viewpoint. Like, I was just so, it was awesome. I was smiling a lot. I need to smile on a regular basis when I go into work. So, that's kind of why I was thinking about that. Seeing all the other rotations just helped me keep saying, you know what, PM&R.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
For me, I came into rotation 97% sure I'll do OB, and I left 100% sure. So it was really going to take the grace of God or devil. And it's see, the only thing that really, really struggled to try and, push me from OB was trauma surgery. It was a very big, I so enjoyed trauma surgery.
Yeah,
Nothing had my blood running like trauma. Even till today, anytime I hear Koti in the hospital, I'm like, wow, I'm like I want to be there. Like, so like literally, I love the action. But every time, like you said, every time I was on any rotation, I was like, how is this relevant to OB? Literally, that's anything you're saying, that's all I'm hearing. But I mean, it was going to really be a long one before I left OB. What am I looking forward to in phase 3? I'm looking forward to traveling. This 2024. Hey, God. Jaye, you should get ready for me. Adora Adabeke coming to a city near you. Because, hey, God. Hey. Ooh, the way I'm about to be, they say catching flights, not feelings. Okay. So that's what we're talking about. Question: do you feel how you hoped you will feel? I know, Jesse, you had mentioned hoping that by the end of this rotation you would know what you want to do. Alaba, you had mentioned writing poetry. I had said hoping I didn't feel jaded. Did you realize those, like, is that what happened at the end of rotation? Do you feel like that ended up happening?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like as we just talked about, I think that going through rotations did help me decide on like palliative care and stuff, which is interesting because we don't really have that much exposure to that on rotations. It's more of like electives that we get to see that more. But I think, again, because I was on like the med-onc floor and some other like even on neuro and stuff, seeing people with more like end stage serious issues, I think that like helped me be like, okay, yeah, like I have also just in general like very much been drawn to like geriatric populations, so it kind of makes sense to me. So I think that I think that clerkships were a really it did its job of helping me figure out what I want to do. But in terms of like Adora's point, in terms of being jaded, I definitely am very, very jaded now.
Wow. Sorry. Alaba, did you write poetry?
I did. I actually wrote so much poetry. I think it was very interesting to see. I know, right? It was very interesting to see the change in tone of my poetry over the years. I thought my order was actually quite poetic because I started with newborn and then I was ending with surgery, and it was like life, death. It was very interesting because my poetry also kind of reflected that, like,
it kind of died.
No, died. It was more like in my poems, like I was more hopeful in the beginning. I was talking about like hopeful, exciting stuff, and then by the end, I'm like, I am empty.
I was cold as an oar.
Yeah. You know? So it was just very interesting to see the thoughts that kept bubbling up throughout the year. I also felt like Jesse said, I feel more confident in what I want to do. I feel also competent as a person. Like, I also wanted to be able to do things. I feel like I can do some things, not everything. Let's calm down. It's not everything, but I I feel like I'm useful in a clinical environment, and that's a lot more than I could say
Than
before I
before,
did this. So A+ there.
That's good.
In terms of being jaded, I resign. I still have some hope. I still do, because I felt like I was exposed to a wide variety of people, and I definitely believe that you are who you choose to be. And so, you know, I will choose to be a happy, positive,
Human being.
whatever. Yeah, exactly.
As
I
long as
will
you have time
choose
to
it.
recover, right?
Exactly.
Right.
As long
That
as
recovery,
that recovery is
is
important.
key. For me, I'm actually happy to report that I left clerkship tired, yes, burnt out, you know, to an extent, annoyed, yes, but not jaded. Not jaded. I actually left clerkship like pretty happy that I chose this career. Like, I still 100% want to be a physician. And I'm not just saying this because we're on camera. But for real, like, I'm just happy. Like, I feel so throughout the year, I continued volunteering at SB Home, which is our student run clinic. And every time I would go there, because I felt good, like running people's care. Like every time, I don't know, it's like the way I'm so ready to graduate. I know residence is gonna be another passport, but like I'm happy I'm happy, and I actually look forward to the future of being in charge of people's care, in charge of like certain things. And I think one thing kept, even the things I did not like, I'm not going into it. So
That's fair.
that's really like
That's true.
I don't have to be there. So I think it was just very important to me that I liked what I wanted to do. Like when I left that rotation, I was like, okay, I like it. I was like, okay, great. Like anything else, that's your business. I'm not gonna be here. But yeah, so that's it. So thank you guys so much for listening to us and for watching our video. I hope you watched the part 1 of this video and you finished this part 2. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like this video, comment, share, subscribe, and continue to watch me, because this 2024, get ready for all my videos. I remain your girl Adabeke, and thanks for watching. Bye.